Obesity is the condition of being grossly fat or overweight. According to the CDC, 39.6% of American adults are obese. Everyone knows that there are numerous negative health implications associated with obesity. From diabetes to heart failure, it is almost too easy to see why shedding the extra weight is in your best interest. So maybe you've tried all the new diets or worked your butt off in the gym. What if you've been taking all the right steps to making the right moves, but without the results? What if I told you there was another reason those extra pounds are stubbornly staying put? Your genetics. There are several genes inside your body that contribute to the susceptibility for obesity. Mainly expressed in the central nervous system, these genes are responsible for diminished satiety, increased hunger, increased snacking, and an overall fat intake. The FTO gene, considered by many to be the leading gene in obesity correlation, primarily aids in nucleic acid demethylation and is highly expressed in regions of the brain that control energy balance and eating behaviors. For an obese individual, this gene essentially tells their body to store as much energy as possible in the form of fat. Some of the proteins involved in the structuring of fat cells during development are IRX3 and IRX5. These proteins help determine what types of fat cells your body makes.
SNP chip test design. Our SNP chip will test 20 to 25 SNPs that are the most commonly related to obesity, with a focus on the FTO and TUB genes, which have a number of genetic variations that could potentially lead to a predisposition to obesity. The RS1421085 SNP in the FTO results in a T nucleotide getting changed to a C nucleotide in this location. Having a CC genome causes a 1.7 times increase in obesity risk, causing a decrease in the repression of the IRX3 and IRX5 proteins in fat cells. This leads to a decrease in brown fat, which is used to create heat, and an increase in white fat, which stores energy. When there's an excess in white fat as opposed to brown fat, people will store more long-term energy as white fat cells instead of storing energy and easily burn brown fat cells, potentially predisposing them to obesity even without a diet or activity level change. As far as developing obesity, a study has concluded that on average, women in a control group weight loss program lost more weight if they knew they were at risk for developing obesity. After seeing results of SNP chip tests, we can warn people if they have potential predisposition to developing obesity. Subjects can make educated decisions on lifestyle changes to help combat the onset of obesity. Since there is not absolute certainty that people with these genetic variations will develop obesity, subjects of our genetic test can still make educated lifestyle changes to combat the onset of obesity.
Studies are inconclusive as to which variants are actually the strongest predictors of obesity. Total summation of 32 genome-wide associate study GWAS variants increases total phenotypic variance to 1.45%. The currently identified variants have poor sensitivity for predicting obesity. Using GWAS, new genes have been linked to obesity on a yearly basis. Our SNP chip does not account for genes that contribute to syndromatic obesity. Studies conducted on individuals that have received genetic testing for obesity have varied conclusions. Some studies find psychological effects of reassurance, whereas others find anxiety and depression. For those that test negative, the perceived benefits include the ability to plan, stress reduction from uncertainty, and an overall sense of relief. The major disadvantage from a negative test result includes guilt. The disadvantages from those testing positive, besides the health implications, include possible discrimination from employers and the inability to secure life and health insurance. The major ethical implication in a positive test result would be an alleviation of guilt and a removal of an individual's responsibility. This could lead to continued overeating or a tendency to discontinue overeating. However, there are both individual and group therapy for those who feel traumatized by the results of their genetic testing.